$10 million a year.
Right.
I was like, hold up. If this bald-headed guy can make $10 million a year off this freaking razor, why not me?
How many store are you in at the moment?
With 3 SKUs, and we're over $6 million. This is one retail, yeah.
Retail
Walmart,
store.
Sam's Club. I graduated nursing. I realized it wasn't for me. I was born in the Philippines, came to the States when I was 8 years old.
Welcome back, friends, and welcome back, Shifu family. In today's videos, I do want to share with you an awesome interview that has a lot of secret sauce that would help you to not only level up your future with building your own brand, but at the same time, it's going to motivate the heck out of you so that you can start building your dream. So I had an honor and a pleasure to interview one of my friends. His name is Ryford. He has built an $8 million a year self-cut system. And if you want to learn more about it, I'm going to put the link down in the video description so that you can learn more about his story and his products. In today's video, we are excited to dive in his journey from starting as an immigrant who immigrated to America at the age of 7 to be able to build a multi-million-dollar brand from scratch, inventing his own products, and able to not only retire himself, but retire his parents. And right now, he is on the mission, just like us, to be able to give back the knowledge to you guys so that you can start building your own dream for your family. And ultimately, we want to set an example and inspire you to go after your dream as well. And I know that there are so many gurus out there that are not actually doing it and trying to teach you guys. And that's why one of our mission at Amazon Shifu is to be the right guidance. We want to be the Harvard of online education, especially for e-commerce, brand building, so that you can start having the right knowledge, the right foundation, so that you can start building your dream and take care of your parents. And if you want to learn more about our Shifu mission and our Shifu mentorship, where we revolve around faith, finance, family, fitness, and charity works, check that link in the video description. If you're new here, my name is Justin. I'm not better than you. I'm not smarter than you. But the one thing that I'm able to learn is success. It's just a matter of never give up and have the right mentorship and the right guidance. And that has allowed me to not only be able to build the life of myself by building and selling Amazon brand, but also able to help make more impact to the world through the YouTube videos just like this. If you're tuning in, subscribe to my YouTube channel and comment down below if you have any question. I'm going to pick one lucky winner to have a one-on-one call with me so that we can discuss about your future success game plan and help you become your own boss in 2025. Follow me on Instagram because I will sharing my daily on there. Without further ado, let's jump right into the video.
Growing up, I was born in the Philippines, came to the States when I was 8 years old. My mom remarried to my stepdad, who's, by the way, American. I thought that I was going to be rich because, coming from a third world country, if you have an American father or family member, you're automatically think that you're rich, right?
Yes.
I even told all my friends back home that, hey guys, you're not going to see me anymore. I'm going to be in New York with my rich dad. And guys, this is it. When I came to the States, it was me and my older sister. I was very excited because I thought that we're going to live in this big house, this big mansion. Okay. And as soon as my stepdad and my mom picked us up in JFK airport, yeah, dude, it was just like a regular Toyota Camry. This is back in early 90s. And I'm like, we live in the Bronx, the good side of the Bronx. It was an apartment building. And yeah, I was like, this is what I didn't expect this. It was, I would say we were like in a middle class family. And then I thought that because my new dad, my stepdad, he's American, I thought he's going to spoil us with money, toys, everything we want. It was the opposite. He was frugal as hell. I learned at a very early age that if, every time my relationship with my stepdad is, what do you call it? Growing up, I was very resentful because of the fact that, I guess I felt that entitlement, because like, hey, I'm your new son. You married my mom, give me money. So, that didn't go through. So, but with my mom, she was earning it very, decent salary, but again, we weren't rich. We're in the middle class, but I felt like we were limited, and and as a young kid, I realized that I don't want to live like, my life like that. See, I live, we were living in New York, and I remember every wintertime when it's cold, I live in the basement, I was in the basement, and my stepdad was very, very frugal when it comes to like
The heat.
because oil is very expensive compared to gas. So I was like, you know what, I promised myself when I get, as I get older, when I get old, I'm gonna go and do my thing, and and I don't want to have a limited life, basically. That's what I mean was I don't want to be, be on a tight budget, like we're in America, so why are we living in a very tight budget, But years later, this is when I was 15 years old. I always liked my hair to be fresh. I'm for some reason, I'm addicted to a fresh cut. I feel so clean. It's like taking a shower, right? When you take a shower, you feel super clean. I remember one Saturday morning, I went to the barbershop and I waited 4 hours.
Wow, that's crazy.
For a haircut. And believe it or not, bro, I still have the same haircut since I was 15 years old. Yeah, I rocked the skin fade with a number of 3.5 on top, and call it a day. So, but that particular day literally changed my life because I waited 4 hours, okay, from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. And back then it was $10 a haircut. And I told myself, this is dumb. I'm like, why am I gonna wait 4 hours just to pay a $10 service? And so what I did was I went to my local drugstore. I went to the local CVS, got myself a pair of clippers. And I got so good at cutting my own hair that I started cutting everybody's hair in my high school. I cut my teacher's hair, my classmates' hair, even my basketball coach's hair. And I was known as Ryfer the Barber. There was a barber shop down the street from my school, and the owner recognized me because he heard about me. So he offered me a job, and I told him, hey, I don't want to sweep, hair off the floor. No, he's going to actually give me my own chair. So that was my after school job. So I was working as a barber after school, and I was cutting everybody's hair. So that was my way of hustle in a way. As much as I enjoy cutting hair, I knew that I don't want to be a barber for the rest of my life. Just being on my feet, cutting hair, I know that wasn't the life that I was going to pursue. So when I got to my senior in high school, I was thinking about joining the military. I was thinking of joining the Navy because my stepdad was in the Navy. And last minute, my mom, well, I don't know if you're familiar with the Filipino culture. We're all known to be nurses, okay? So my mom encouraged me to go for nursing. So I asked my mom, I was like, all right, well, you guys are not going to pay for my school. So the best way to do it is for me to go to community college. So back then, this is back in 2002, the community college I went to, Westchester Community College, is about $1,500 a semester. So that's $3,000 a year. And I did it. The reason why I pursued nursing was because it was a career decision. It was a business decision because I'm an ROI type of guy, return on your investment. So if I'm going to spend my own money on my education, I better multiply that. So 2 years of nursing school, which by the way, that's the hardest thing I've ever done. Okay. Because again, I'm not really good. Well, I'm a C student. I'm a B.C. student. So I spent $6,000 in 2 years just to do $80,000 to $100,000 per year as a nurse. And as soon as I graduated nursing, I realized it wasn't for me.
What was that moment when you feel like it's not something for you?
It wasn't my bread and butter. I feel like I know, because I was working, as soon as I graduated from nursing and I passed my nursing state exam to get my license, I was working at a nursing home. So I saw the last stage of life, and I'm just like, oh, this is not for me. Back then, I was making I think $70,000 starting, and I was like, no, I can't be just passing out medication. As much as I love helping people, I don't see myself being in that field for the rest of my life. The day that really changed my life, I was still working as a nurse. I was still living with my parents. And there was a show called The Big Idea on CNBC with Diney Deutsch. It's a show about entrepreneurs, inventors, business people who shared their story and how they came up with their own big idea and turn it into a multi-million-dollar business. So, and I remember one episode where they had a special guest, an inventor who invented this special design razor for bald-headed guys called the Headblade. I'm not sure if you're familiar with the brand. His name is Todd Green. And while I was watching the show, I was asking myself, what's so unique about his special invention? It's a razor. Until he shared how much his company generated, $10 million a year. Wow. And I was like, hold up. If this bald-headed guy can make $10 million a year off this freaking razor, why not me?
That's true.
Why not me? So people say, don't compare yourself to others. I think 50% of that is true. The other 50% is, that you got to really look at yourself and what that person, have that I don't have, or what did that person do where I could literally just pretty much do the same thing, but do it better. You know what I mean? Yeah. In a good way, because that inspired the shit. That really inspired the hell out of me, I started 24 years old. There's no way that bald-headed dude make $10 million off the razor, because if he could do it, I need to start coming up with an invention. Yes. One day, I just started brainstorming. Literally less than 30 days, I was in my room laying down. Again, I was in my mom's basement. I looked up and I had my aha moment. And my aha moment is, the reason why guys don't cut their own hair, two things. They can't see. Oh, I got the blues. They can't see.
That's the aha moment right there.
I know. They can't see the back of their head. And two, they don't know how to. So that's the reason why. So I actually ended up inventing the world's first self-hair cutting mirror for guys to see the back of their head so they could cut their own hair. And back then, I actually had an educational DVD teaching guys how to cut their own hair. Now we have an app. But the point of it is that I took action. First of all, I was inspired. And two, I took the action because, shoot, we're talking about millions of dollars. Did it happen overnight? Absolutely not. I was focusing more on the steps, more on the, taking affordable steps and just building day by day.
I see. And how much was your first budget for your first batch of inventory for self-cut?
For self-cut, it was all in all, just the inventory is about 12, 13K. I ordered, 1,000 units. Wow. So my first sale it happened literally 2 days, 3 days later with no ads. There was no social media, a little bit, but not that much. Again, we're talking about 2010. And I didn't have an iPhone. I downgraded. I had a BlackBerry. Mm-hmm. So I remember I got my first sale because I was working as an overnight nurse. And I remember I looked at my phone. This is around 2 o'clock in the morning. And my BlackBerry I see that red flickering light. Mm-hmm. And it said, payment received. I'm like, oh my God. I was like, somebody bought my product. Yep. And it's this guy from Alaska. I think he was in the military, because I could look him up through his email. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, wow, somebody gave me $60 just to buy myself.
Yep.
And then slowly, right, I was getting sales organically. And then what I did was, this is when I was turning 27. The day when I was starting my 27th birthday, I decided, this is me being my third month in business. I actually rented a kiosk at our local mall. And basically this cost me about $1,800. And the reason why I ended up doing a kiosk is just to kind of get our customers' information, data. Okay. Of course I want to sell too. And I remember I had to open up my kiosk at 11 o'clock in the morning. And it was we had to close 9:30 at night. And this was on a Saturday. So I was pumped. There's a lot of traffic. Guess what, bro? From 11 a.m. to 9:15 p.m., no sales.
Wow.
But from 9:20 to 9:30, so I had 10 minutes left before I had to close it down. Dude, I sold like about close to $500 worth of my products.
That's awesome.
Dude, I felt so, like the first, 9-10 hours, I felt embarrassed. I was like, man, what am I doing here, man? And for me to kind of I was obviously just kind of discouraged, but that last 10 minutes kind of gave me hope. And then the next day, on a Sunday, no sales. Monday, no sales. Tuesday, no sales. Wednesday, I sold 11 units. I don't know why, middle of the week, I remember it was like over 10. I think I made over close to like $1,600. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And that reminding me of the same story of mine as well, where I can see that the first day we're very excited. We always think that we're gonna be the next millionaire within 30 days or more. So very high expectation. And then all of a sudden the reality hit, just like for you, where no sales at all. But one thing that you did well was you stayed there. You was the last man standing. Because
you don't understand, you do understand, right? Because we do have similar story in a way, right? Both of us are entrepreneurs, but that was it was like eating me alive. I'm just I'm like one man show at my kiosk. I'm like the promoter, I'm the cash register. I'm like, I was doing everything. And I'm glad that I did it because I learned a lot. I was only there for 30 days, for 1 month. And the reason why I did it for 1 month is because I already got enough information that what I need to do. And what I learned in that the first 30 days, the first month, are the customers were asking for clippers. I wasn't selling clippers. I was just selling mirrors. So the day when a couple of customers asked me, oh, does it come with clippers? You know what? I went to the beauty supply stores upstairs and got a whole bunch of clippers at the lowest wholesale price.
Wow.
And put in my kiosk, and I was selling as a kit, as a bundle. So with me not knowing that information, I wouldn't put it on a website. So that helped me increase my sales.
Yeah. So the lesson that I learned based on the story that you just shared was never give up and always pivot.
Never give up. Yeah.
And
never
always
give up.
pivot. Because imagine let's just go back in time. Imagine if you never rent that kiosk, and if you never stay there past, let's say, 9 p.m., and if you never listen to your customer, then do you feel in my mind, I would not see the same you as you are today, because those are the moment that build who you are as a person. Because what I learned based on your story was you take action and you listen to the customer. Many founders, they don't listen to their customer at all, and you do, and you take action right away. Because some people, they're like, let me just do it tomorrow. But for you, the next minute, you go to a beauty store. The next minute, the second version of Selka system has been developed. So what I learned from there was listen to the customer. And that was great of you. And one thing that I do want to ask was why, like, for many people, like probably 7 out of 10 new founder gave up. Why didn't you give up on the first day or on the first week? What keep you going, and what's your why?
Number one is, again, I didn't know any better. And plus, I had 1,000 units.
So you,
I put up 30K. So
Wow.
was it pressure? No, because I know the market. Because I was like, I know, like going back to my story about how I was frustrated about the long waiting. I identified the problem and I came out with a solution. So there's a saying, turn your frustrations into millions. And that's what I did. I know for sure that I'm not the only guy, right, that's dealing with this problem, this frustration. As a man, right, who like their hair to be fresh all the time. I don't like, we don't like the long waiting. We don't like spending money on haircuts. Okay. Like, this is my field. I know it. And I'm going to take advantage of it. So was it doubt? It's about I was too busy trying to make it work. Like the doubts, no. Because when you have sales coming in, a couple of units a day, right? You kind of build up that confidence. I was like, okay. And then once you start scaling organically, okay, then you gotta go and start making big moves. My first big move was because I know my audience. Okay, my audience are the urban men between 18 to 40 years old, African American. Look at their hair, it's short. How often they cut their hair? Once a week, once every 2 weeks. I know how to market to them because I'm part of that market. I understand the language. I know how to communicate with them. Going back to my biggest move, my first big move, as far as advertising goes, I'm not sure if you're familiar with WorldStar. You know WorldStar Hip Hop?
Oh yeah, I know the War Star.
Okay.
All the fighting
So,
videos.
yeah, so yes, they're like the CNN of the urban market. They show everything. And that's where my audience are. I remember I reached out to them and I told them, hey, I want to post my video on your website. And they came to me and it's like, yeah, it's going to be like about $15,000. I'm like,
Wow.
15,000 for one post.
Oh wow.
Okay.
15,000.
This is back in 2012. This is like 2012,
Wow.
2013. No, I'm sorry. That's 2011, 2012, around that time. And I had a customer who did a testimonial video. Okay. It was very organic. It reminds me of, you know, that P90X. Remember that P90X? Remember back in the day when they did a commercial, right? And it's very like, it's like a homemade video. So that was the video that I was going to post on WorldStar.
Oh.
Okay. So I was like, okay, this is perfect. But again, the problem was they wanted 15 grand. But for some reason, I was able to convince them to get it down to 2,500.
Wow. What was the secret sauce that you share? Can you share with us?
I just begged, man. I just begged. That's the secret sauce. I just begged. I was persistent. I was like, listen, I'm a small company. I mean, I'm not even a company. Okay. I'm just starting out. So, but I think they liked the video because again, they were looking for content. And the customer, he wasn't my customer. I positioned to him to be my customer. He wasn't one of my models who could sing. He's an R&B singer. So while he was talking about the product, he was singing at the same time. Okay. So I was like, all right, I send him the money. Dude, I thought they're going to post it maybe like a week later. Dude, they posted it the next day. So check this out. As soon as I woke up, I didn't know they're going to post it the next day. Bro, I look at my BlackBerry. Again, I still have my BlackBerry. I didn't have an iPhone because I had to downgrade everything. Okay. Bro, I had so many missed calls. And I look at my email, payment receipt. Bro, I did 40 grand in one day.
Wow. So it's returned almost 20-fold.
In one day.
Damn.
In one
How
day.
was your feeling during the next thing you wake up?
I feel like I feel I hit a lottery. Okay. But I knew I had a gut feeling of this is going to work, and it worked. And then from there, the money that I made, I just reinvested. Again, I still have my nursing job.
Mm.
I was still making $80,000 a month, not a month, a year. So I didn't get my day job. You know, I just used the money that I've been earning from the business, and I just reinvested everything.
Mm.
So would you call it? I was a one-man show. Yeah, I was a one-man show.
Yep. And based on what you share, so before you hit that milestone where everything's starting to blow up, 40,000 a day, were you setting
No,
aside
$40,000 for that day. Yeah,
Oh yeah,
that day.
$40,000 for that day? Were you setting money aside or feeding into the system? So that $2,500 that you pay for WorldStar, was it coming out from your pocket?
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. Because when I reached out to WorldStar, that was like maybe a year or a year and a half later after I launched it.
I see.
Yeah. I had the money from the business,
I see.
not from my nursing job.
I see. But do you reserve, like, how much was the money beside $30,000 that you park aside for your product? Do you set any like monthly budget for marketing, or everything was all
No.
organic?
See, here's the thing. It was all new to me, so I was holding into it, but I just reinvest the money to the inventory. All right, cool. 1,000 now. I want 3,000 units based on how fast I'm selling.
I see. And what was in your mind? Why not quitting your job? Because there's many founders, they just feel like they want to burn all bridges to go all into business within the first year. Why you kept your 9-to-5 job as a nurse?
Number one, because again, there's no guarantee in the business, So I actually quit my nursing job, I think my 7th year in business, and I was still making millions of dollars. I was still making, because the fact that it was a one-man show, I had a very, very small team. Every year I always have a problem. I made too much, which means that my net profit is too high. I don't want to pay a lot of taxes. So it was every year it kept growing and growing and growing. From the first year all the way to the 9th year, it was purely online. Website sales, Amazon sales. And let's talk about Amazon, because I know that's your, bread and butter. Okay. Here's the thing. Am I an Amazon expert? Yes and no. Okay. So for me, when I started selling my product on Amazon, I had a third party, like the third party seller. So they took everything. So I was spoiled. One thing that, even though it was good because there were sales coming in, money's coming in, right? I didn't have the skill set to pretty much understand how Amazon advertising works, right? I was just relying too much on people, which is not a bad thing, because if you have the money coming in, like, you don't care. It's like everything's automated. So literally it took about 2 or 3 years, for the last 2 or 3 years, I've been like really understanding how Amazon works, So that's why I'm sure, because you have your own Amazon coaching program, and we didn't have this, back in 2010 or 12, So basically the point I'm trying to make is that, yes, it was nice for me to understand more in depth versus just sending my inventory to a third-party seller, giving it the POs. Because again, this is what, $50, $100, $150, $200,000 of POs coming to me that, I didn't take the time to learn the skill set back then. So, yeah. So that's why, what you're doing with Amazon and helping students, because you already done it, I think it creates a lot of value for people out there, especially for beginners.
And the reason why for me, where we interview you as a founder, because like you are the OG of marketing, you are the OG of the founder in the early stage, tap into the internet, because the internet for like e-commerce, probably about 2005 and on, maybe a little, Jeff Bezos started in 1996, and it's like still the early age. And during that time, there was not a lot of knowledge, and people just figure it out. Just like
Yeah.
you figured out your way to
Hmm.
make your first sales on your own website. And same with my mentor, Charlie. He also similar background like yours, frustration, resentment, and he like, why not me? And the reason why I was doing this Amazon thing, because just like you, right, brother, that your sales can, like right now, I know that you're also selling on Amazon too, right? Are you selling it through by yourself, or you still going through a third party?
No, to be honest with you, I actually, I sold it to, and I sold it. I gave it to a different third party seller.
I
Yeah.
see. And I think what you just did was a right move, because on Amazon, like you have to have like someone that have an eyes on the operation, because on there, for me, when I see of Amazon, I see it as a wild west for not just American but also Chinese seller, because more than 60% of seller on Amazon are Chinese seller. So you are pretty much compete directly with the manufacturer. Some of them are like bring their own manufacturer, all the product from China over as selling at bottom pricing. So on my end, what I usually share with people is Amazon is a wild west, and you have to constantly evolving your bundle. For example, like right now with self-cut system, you are selling a bundle of almost everything. But the next thing you know is Chinese sellers, Chinese manufacturers, they're going to do the exact same thing.
And that happened to me. No, it happened to me. You see, I'm sure you did some research on my product on Amazon, and there's a lot of knockoffs. So here's the thing, because I've been doing this for almost 15 years now. I can't believe this, right? Right? What do you call it? I knew that I'm going to get knocked off. Right?
Yep.
I'm surprised that nobody knocked me off in the beginning. But, the point is, you got to pivot. You got to make some adjustments. And it's like chess. You got to know what's your next 5 moves. And back in 2009, I've always try to get my product in retail, like Walmart, Target, right?
Yep.
But it was so difficult because I hired a couple of sales reps. They didn't do a good job. One of my childhood best friend who comes from tech, who's my business partner, by the way, he's in sales. And his company went downhill, lost his job, and I gave him the opportunity. Hey, you could be my co-founder. All you have to do is get me into retail stores. No retail experience, but he's like the Michael Jordan of sales. He got it done for me in less than a year and a half. If I didn't make that move, get into retail stores, I'll be hurting right now. My retail sales have taken over my online sales. But because of me understanding, I'm always thinking ahead. I always tell myself, how can I put myself out of business? If you know how to put yourself out of business, then you know what to do with your business.
Absolutely.
What do you think about that?
No, I agree with you, because we never depending on one source of sales channel to be sustainable, because the next thing you know, there's going to be someone that want to take you out, because we don't make money. We take money from other competitor to our pocket. And I think that is the right move that you make, not just by building the right product, but also making the right relationship. And what you just shared reminding me of is not what you know, but who you know. And your network will be determined by your network.
Yes.
And give people ownership if you want them to go to war with you.
Yeah, and he did that for me. Because again, I know what he's capable of doing. And for me, I'm just very lucky that not only he's my childhood best friend, but he has the skill set that, that he could get the job done. And he did it.
Right now, one thing that you shared was your retail sales has overtaken your online sales. And at the moment, how many stores are you in at the moment?
Yeah, so we're all in stores with 3 SKUs, and we're over $6 million just in one retail.
Wow.
Just in one retail, yeah.
And right now you are in Walmart and
Sam's Club. We have a meeting with Costco.
mm,
When we close that, that's gonna be additional 5 million.
wow, that's crazy. And
Yeah.
all of that has like is dedicated to your friend. He closed all that deal.
Oh, no. It started with him.
Hmm.
And then, he didn't like call Walmart, hey, Walmart, no.
Hmm.
He had to get the right people involved.
I see.
So he did all the legwork to find the right person. And we found our broker, right? Because for somebody like you or anybody, you can't just knock on the door for Walmart. It's like, hey, take my product. Nope. You gotta go, and it's like what you said earlier, it's who you know.
Yep.
If I didn't make that move, or if I didn't make that decision of like, hey, we need retail, my business would be where we are today.
Absolutely. And let's say right now, for any founder that are listening to our interview and podcast, and they already consolidate their foundation of product, and they already proven that the product works. They're already selling on their website, and they're already selling it perhaps on Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
So what would be the advice that would you tell them? Like, what are the key foundation?
Yeah, see, like not all products can get into retail, obviously. Number one is you need to have a unique item. Two things, a very unique item, or two, if you have a brand. Because when you have a brand, okay, because obviously Walmart, what they look for is they look for obviously a brand because, they're relying on you to drive traffic to their stores. Because all they want is, of course, to sell your products, and it's all about creating incremental sales. Like, for example, here's self-cut system, we sell mirrors. Your job is to tell your customers to pick it up in Walmart. What's going to happen, people go to the store. Oh, I'm here for self-cut system, I'm going to buy the mirror. Oh, I see clippers. So you see, it helps incremental sales. Like same thing with Amazon, right?
Yep.
Like, when they're dealing with influencers, they want to like bring traffic to their website because they know if you're, let's say, looking to buy a pillowcase, chances are you're going to buy a blanket, right? Yep. So that's what they're looking for. And also, you're capable of producing hundreds of thousand units because it's all about volume. Okay. 200, like 100, 200, 300,000 units all at once. And also, can you not only produce them, but can you fulfill it on time? Here's the number one rule at Walmart is that you can't be out of stock. If you're out of stock and there's an empty space on the retail shelf, that's the real estate, okay? You need to have your product in stores, okay? So going back to what I was saying, number one is, you need to have a unique product or a brand, okay? A well-known brand. Two is, do you have the capability of manufacturing a huge volume of units? Third is, this is the part where I'm going to share with you. Again, I don't want to say which retail stores, but there's one retail store that owed me over $1 million. And the reason why is logistics. Okay. When dealing with retail stores like Walmart or any other retailers, their logistics is how you pretty much get paid, is how you ship the item. Yeah, they have this complex system which we didn't know about. We went in it and pretty much we just learned on the go. And then I was looking at our numbers and I was like, wait a minute, something's not adding up, right? And it was the logistics, and we figured it out. And literally took me about a year and a half, almost 2 years to get the money back over time. So it was very scary. That happened about 2 years ago.
So from my understanding, there was one retail store that you fund them $1 million worth of products, and they have not distributed back the profit plus the profit share plus the capital that you put in for at least a year
Yeah.
or two.
Yeah.
And
So like, let's say they order 3 million,
mhm.
right? And then because we get paid every 6 days, between 45 to 75 days. That's the thing that I learned about retail, is that it's not like Amazon, you get paid every 2 weeks.
Yep.
Am I right? So that alone, it was, I didn't have the stomach for it, but I had no choice. Okay. I had to make it work, and I had to figure it out. There was no blueprint for us.
That's true.
Okay. And pretty much, listen, like, yeah, you're doing millions of dollars, but can you really manage the business? And yeah, what I had to do is, I had to sell my Lamborghini, my G-Wagon. Yeah. Because just to kind of because it affected my cash flow. When you're dealing with millions of dollars, no, you're dealing with, I went from a CEO to CFO, in a snap of a finger. I'm more thank God it happened to me, because I understand numbers now. I'm more obsessed about it. I make my decisions based on numbers.
I see. And I would say cash flow, was it the biggest challenge that you faced when it's come to scaling to millions of dollars, just like
Of course.
any other founder?
Because I'm putting out my own money. I didn't take outside funding. There's no outside investors. I have a line of credit, which helped me, but again, that's not enough. You're dealing with millions of dollars every day, and I'm like, okay, well, I need to get paid. If I don't get paid, then all right, my factor's gonna be upset. Okay, sure. It'll affect my staff payroll. So, again, it's one of those things where I'm glad it happened, because, it kind of shaped me for who I am as a businessman. Being able to tolerate when things doesn't go your way, and what do you do? And yes, there's gonna be a lot of sleepless nights, because oh my God, I'm sure you could relate to this, because how you can generate millions of dollars? When people say generate, it doesn't mean that, they're well off. No, because if they have cash flow issues, they're done.
And for you, let's say right now, if any founder who are listening to this, what would be your advice to them when it's come to preparing for cash flow, preparing the capital when it's come to scaling? And where are the bucket of cash that you can tap in?
Yeah. So now, do I call myself an expert? Absolutely. Hell to the yeah. Yeah, man, I learned my lesson. Number one, numbers is everything. Okay. Cash flow is everything. Really understanding your timeline, the timing of it. And this is the part of what I did, I'm very proud of myself, was when every year, because remember, I was scaling my company, I always go to the bank and ask for an increase in line of credit, even though I didn't need the extra line of credit. That helped me. So I have $1.5 million line of credit.
I see.
I built that up over time.
How long did it take you to get there? And was it from your business line of credit, or is also you increase it from your personal?
No, just only my business line of credit. But I built it up over time. I started with 100,000, right? 50 grand and 100,000.
And how did you establish that for the founder who are basically new in this world? How would you establish that when it's come to building relationship with banker for any founder who's tuning in right now?
Yeah, you just building a relationship. You have your money is in their account, okay, and just pretty much, just the first thing you have to just ask them, hey, I'm doing X amount of sales. This is how much we're profiting. How much line of credit am I qualified for? Is it 20 grand? Take it. If take it, you could negotiate. You can get a little bit more. Can get 50 grand. Okay, absolutely. Well, you've been banking with us for the last 3 years, 4 years. Yeah, we could do that for you. Also take advantage of, because banks out there, they have this thing called, obviously they all want you to sign up for their credit cards, right? So, but if they promote or offer you a credit card at 0% APR, which means you're not paying no interest, take it. Take it. Because that's free money. But make sure you gotta pay the back. Like most of the time, I use that for inventory.
That's awesome, man. Because that's something that I'm also used when it's come to starting my business as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say, beside the bank, do you also leveraging your home line, like equity line of credit from your home as well?
Yeah. And thank God I haven't touched it yet, but I do have it.
Absolutely. I do have a few more questions for you because I have church in about 20 minutes. But I do want to ask you a few things when it's come to yourself. Like if you were to have a call back to your 24 years old self when he was just starting, what would be the number one advice that you would tell him that would help you prevent like the biggest mistake in your entire career?
It's not a mistake, but if I had to not start over, like again, I've been around for almost 15 years.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be more aggressive on ads, on Facebook ads. That's number one. And number two, really, really understand Amazon, or really take advantage of, of how Amazon works. But what happened to that is it prevented me on building my skill set to learn Amazon.
Yeah.
It took me after 10 years, like during my 10, 11 year to really understand how Amazon works.
I see. And to share with you about Amazon as well is with the knockoff product, it would happen. So that's why on Amazon, once you hit a threshold of 10,000 reviews or more, that's when your brand gonna be Amazon favorite child. Because everyone shop on Amazon, they would always buy the one that with the highest review counts, even with the knockoff product that come out. And for you at your stage right now, because you already have your like monopoly laying out with all of the influencer here and there, traffic, backlink, article that written about you, everything just channel back. And the number one thing right now is customer behavior, because eventually everything will start shifting to online. We never know when the war could happen, like World War III, World War IV. But then people like the old generation would die, and then the new generation, they don't want to go to store anymore.
Yeah.
So that's when this entire things will shift. Even right now, the number one place that people will go and shop would be Amazon. After they watch TikTok and stuff. What do you feel about TikTok right now? For me, I feel like TikTok would get banned. But what do you think about it? Because like the whole U.S. company, they don't like a Chinese company.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. I think TikTok will get banned, especially Donald Trump, because if he says something, he'll do it. Especially with the tariffs. I first remember back in 2016. Was it 2016 when he said he's going to increase tariffs? Like I thought he's going to wait. I thought it's going to take about maybe a couple of years. No, he did that within the first year, like within months. I'm like, but yeah, listen, like anything else, you got to pivot. And I think it could be a huge advantage for Amazon.
Absolutely. Because for me, what I feel like right now, like TikTok, they're trying to become X. No, they're trying to compete as a social media number one platform. And X now is with Elon, and Elon is signed with Trump. So they have to take the top dog out, which is TikTok. Yeah. And number two is TikTok trying to compete with Amazon. So Amazon also another billionaire. So now they have like 2-3 billionaire behind, like trying to kick them out. Same with Facebook and Instagram, like Mark Zuckerberg.
Yeah.
So they have like 3 billion, like the richest people in the world, influencing the constitution and the legislation to remove them out. And that's why.
Yeah, it's so funny you said that, because I thought Amazon, TikTok they became partners.
They became partner temporarily until TikTok rolled out that TikTok shop. That's when Amazon feel like, oh man, this dude is no longer in my favor. That's when Amazon launched their own viewable shop. So Amazon has similar platform now where you can browsing their own. So with TikTok shop being lifted up too much, and now we just don't think too much about business rather than just chess, when the opponent starting to trying to get all over the place. And for you, let's say as a billionaire, your stuff want to get jeopardized if they become too big. That's when I feel like TikTok would eventually get.
I agree, because like who's gonna buy unless they sell it to a U.S. company.
Yep, that is true. And I think it could be owned by the government because in China, like all of the, like for me, I grew up in a communist country.
Hmm.
And I have no hate or no love. I'm more of like in the middle. I have no love or no hate to democracy, or because for me I'm more of a stoic. I'm stand in the
Mm.
middle. I don't lean to either side. Just see what the world is about.
Hmm.
So what I share was in China, like they control all of the media. In here we do have the first free speech, but the
Yeah.
government somewhat they would have to control the
Mm.
main source of information. Otherwise, they would get out of hand. And that's why right now, with Trump would have influence on Elon, even though they
Yeah.
both promoting free speech, but they would have somewhat restriction or somewhat. So I
Hmm.
think U.S. government would eventually buy TikTok, and they will become the owner of TikTok. That's what I think. What do you think?
Wow. Wow. I think that's a good. Listen, I think you made a good point. I think you made a good point, but we'll see, man. Was it January 19 or did they delay it?
I think January 9.
Or January 9? I thought it was
Yeah,
19. Oh,
yeah.
wow.
I don't know. But
Wow.
I'm a nobody. Everything I just learned was just my own 2 cents. But I could be wrong, you know. But I'm always curious.
Well, what do you think? What do you think about Amazon 2025?
It's so right now Jeff Bezos moved. So right now I'm in Seattle, but I know Jeff Bezos recently moved to Florida. So you don't move to Florida for no reason unless you want to build allies with someone else.
Hmm.
You want to build allies with someone else, and eventually, right now he still has he's the number one influential people in the world. So
Hmm.
and he have Amazon to take care of still, even though he's not the chairman, but he's still. You don't
Yeah.
want to see your child right now. You don't want to see your child crash and burn, right?
Yep.
So I think Amazon will be here to stay. Like, what are the things? Whenever I start a business, I learned that. So Jeff Bezos once said, "What are the things that would not be changed, like human psychology or like the behavior of people?" And now with Amazon, people will still continue to shop on Amazon because it solved many problems and frictionless for people to shop. Amazon has become one day, like like now, then a year before, one click, your product go to your home the next day. I just feel like Amazon would not go anywhere
Hmm.
because number one, it's backed by the number one like most powerful people in the world with money because money can move everything.
Yeah.
Number two is their monopoly has been all over the place, and some part of U.S. economy has been backed by Amazon. And
Mm.
Amazon also control not just the Amazon infrastructure but also the cloud computing cloud and everything.
Got it. Got it.
So they already built so much of their whole monopoly to where
Mm.
the US eventually have to be depending on them, not just
Yeah.
for shopping for consumer or like economic, but also for data.
Hmm. Wow.
So they would not go anywhere, and they just get deep, bigger and bigger. And for us, for me, I always like, how can I leverage? How can I stand on the shoulder of the giant, the biggest giant, because they
Hmm.
back me up.
Mm.
So that's pretty much my thinking of Amazon. How can I leverage the biggest guy and
And then,
play
and
with
then
him?
how about the new sellers? Do you see a high competition because you're not the only one that has the online Amazon coaching program? Where do you see people? Because I know other people who does their coaching for Amazon,
Mhm.
and let's say out of like 500 students or 100 students, only one or two people are just take it really seriously.
Mhm.
Do you see there's going to be oversaturation, right? Because you're dealing with not only Chinese sellers, now we got people from the U.S.
Yeah. So here's one thing that I want to start building the foundation first is why they call the rich the 1%, meanwhile the world is the 99%. Because the
Mm.
whole remaining world, many of them fighting right now with distraction, struggling. So
Mm.
out of 10 seller, probably only 3 to 1 or 2 can
Mhm.
really excel. So for me right now, like the first thing for many of the people that I work with, I always focus on what is the 1% mindset, how to build them, how to build the foundation. Just like your
Yeah.
company. Imagine
Mhm.
if you never have the foundation from the first year before you start
Mhm.
scaling. Probably you would crash and burn because it's too
Yeah.
quick. Same with us. Our mentorship because that's why I would love you to be a part of us as well, to teach the next generation as well. Because one, you have the 1% mindset to build upon. Everyone else is like fighting with distraction and all that. We just stay
Yeah.
focused.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, when you pour every knowledge, every blueprint to success, just like you right now, you already know how to get on different big retail platform. We're just gonna pour that into a strong foundation, and every skyscraper that built on top is gonna be extremely hard to fail. So the point that I'm trying to make is, yes, there will be competition, just like you share. Competition would help you evolve. But as long as you're evolving, as long as you listen to the customer, as long as you take action, and as long as you build enough reputation on Amazon, right? You take Amazon customer, you borrow it, you bring them to your website, you upsell them. Now you have two. The next thing you know, now you have two. Amazon have the highest review count. Now you piggyback on Amazon as the #1 brand in the industry. Use that as a leverage. Go around with all the Walmart and stuff, because now you Amazon favorite baby. Those guys gonna want you to be on their end too. Say, hey guys, like, hey Walmart, look at my brand, #1 seller, the highest rating. Would you like to have me?
Yeah.
It's the conversation is a lot easier now. You funnel all these into your website, building up your database, building up the last card. So now
Yeah,
it's extremely hard. It's extremely hard for people to take you down. Even the knockout one that come in, people would like these guys.
No, you're right. No, you're right.
Yep. So yeah, brother, that's pretty much my monopoly, and both of them are building on top of just like strategic move.
Oh yeah, of course.
And on Amazon, it's really not that complicated because your product offer is everything. And number 2 is review count. So in like my record, I help a lot of company that went from, let's say, 3,000 to 6,000 review count within a year or less. And even my own, I have one of my product is piggyback on the sell velocity. If you have sell velocity, outside brand go to Amazon. If you already have sell velocity, I have a way to harvest those review counts. So one of my case study was I went from 0 to 10,000 review in under 2 years.
Oh wow. Oh my God.
So when you have 10,000 reviews, it's gonna be extremely hard.
Do you still have that, or did you
Yeah.
sold it? You still.
The company with 10,000 reviews, I sold that company already.
Oh yeah, I remember you talking about. Yeah, I remember you talking about.
And
that.
right now, I'm just using the same system to pour into the right students, because not every student would have access to it until they unlock a certain milestone. Let's say if they never unlock the first milestone of mindset or like foundation, then they never be able to reach that system that I built. Just like Kung Fu, learning Kung Fu, you know? Yeah, brother. So it was a pleasure to talk to you, learn a lot of great things about you. And man, I really love your mindset. And the number one thing that I learned from you is never give up, never compare, never be a theft of joy, but rather to level yourself up. That's what I really love about what you just shared. And always pivot. That's the last thing that I learned from. Hey, brother, I appreciate you a lot.
Yeah, same here, man. Well, thank you so much, man. And yeah, we'll do this again, and just let me know when when you want me to talk to your students, and I'll be honored.
Absolutely. Happy New Year and many blessings for you, and for the future 2025 going to be a lot of big things for you. Thank you. God bless.
All right. I hope that you're able to learn a lot and have a lot of actionable advice that you can start taking. And don't forget to follow my friend Ryford on Instagram, because he's going to be sharing a lot of his knowledge. His mission, just like me, he wants to help you guys to not only invent your product, but at the same time, launching it successfully and to build the dream life for yourself. And a quick reminder, don't forget to subscribe, because I will be sharing a lot more knowledge that would help you guys to become a better version of yourself. And remember, 1% every day, you will be able to accumulate 365% way more than other people. So start taking action now with the things that we share with you, and I can wait to see you at the top. Comment down below if you have any questions, and let me know where are you from and what are your dreams for this year. Peace for now, Shifu Warrior, and peace for now, friends.